Well, I guess there's the countdown. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to another episode of The Gumby Show. It's your boy BOZ, the Smack God, with the homie, the marvelous one. What's cracking with you, Hobie?
What's up, man? What's up, man? How you feeling?
It's been a while. It's been a while since we've done this, and I've been wanting
Been
to
too
get back
long.
into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Uh, Life has been lifing and life has been good, but nonetheless, life has been lifing, leaving me less time to do some of these things that I really enjoy to do. But right now, I'm in a state of disarray. I feel like the Raider Nation is a state of emergency. There's almost a civil war cracking off between Team Tank over here, I'm Team Tank, and the rest of yous who are not big believers in that. But I didn't have super high expectations for how the season would go, but I must say we have not met my very low expectations. How are you feeling about the town right now?
Right now, it's the same way as you. I didn't have super high expectations, especially with the some of the personnel that we gathered, both on field and off the field. Um, I was hoping that we looked better. I was hoping that we looked better, and the teams that we beat, um, the teams that we lost to. Let's start with that. It's been disappointing. The teams that we lost to. So right now, it's the up and down roller coaster that we've all felt previously as Raider fans. So try not to hit the panic button, but not looking good right now.
Um, I don't know if I had PTSD, but I hit the panic button weeks ago. I'll go as far as to say that I had my hand on the panic button, ready to hit it when we got Gardner Minshew. But I told myself, well, that can't be the move. He has to be the long-term backup. They're going to make another move for a quarterback. Clearly, you're not
Right.
going to war with Gardner Minshew. You couldn't be. And when everything got going and nobody seemed to be too concerned about a quarterback, I panicked. I panicked.
Understandably so. Um, the Gardner Minshew signing was puzzling to me. Then I heard someone break it down. It's like you want to get a good quality backup who has the same skill set as your starter. And I was like, that makes sense. They were
Yes.
trying, they had the pipe dream that they were going to land Jaden Daniels. And Gardner Minshew was his sort of mimic backup. But that turned into a pipe dream. Once Washington settled on him at number two, that dream was over. They needed to move on and get somebody else. I think they had their eyes on Penix, but Atlanta surprised the world and picked him, and then they were just left with nobody. So now we got AOC and Gardner Minshew as our quarterback.
And that was the second time that I hit the panic button. Um, I thought that there was no way that we wouldn't come out of this year's draft with a quarterback, especially a quarterback for the future, even if it had to be a project like, say, a Joe Milton, who's maybe
Or
not going to
Spencer
be
Rattler. Spencer Rattler was there.
Spencer Rattler, another guy, right? To me, that was the move to make, was for us to grab a quarterback, because we clearly didn't have a quarterback of the future on the roster, or really a quarterback for the now. I mean, in a pinch, you could use Gardner Minshew if you know he's mentoring your young stud who's going to be ready in 9, 10, 11, 12 weeks. You know what I
Right.
mean? Maybe even a year holding the clipboard wouldn't have been the worst thing. But we didn't do that. We didn't do that. And that is very troubling. So you still have not hit the panic button. I've hit the panic button several times, because let's be very clear about something. To anybody that has anything to say about my takes, let's be really clear about something. This is the NFL, and if you don't have a quarterback, you don't have anything. Tell me, what sense does it make to pay Devontae Adams $25 million a year if your quarterback is Gardner Minshew?
Yeah.
It doesn't. Of
Normally I would be upset, like, why does he want out? I know why he wants out.
course.
And I know why the Raiders is like, all right, let's do it. Because they know that in order for Devontae Adams to be Devontae Adams, he needs somebody to throw him the ball. And right now, outside one game, the Baltimore game, he doesn't have that guy. And yeah, it makes no sense. It makes no sense to have him on the team right now. So,
which again has me hitting the panic button, because when your best offensive player wants out of town, that tells you there's really a problem with the identity of the team, and that guys don't want to be here. That means that guys inside of that building have took a look around and said, nah, this ain't it. This ain't going to work. I don't want to be. That's so telling. So you got to understand, in football, it's not like the NBA. The NBA is spicy. You know, niggas in the NBA say what's on their mind. You know everything they're thinking, right? In that moment, they're going to tell you how they feel. All of them,
right.
The divas. In the NFL, it's very Belichickian, if you will, a very Patriots way. Coaches don't say what's on their mind. They have coach speak. Players kind of say we want to do well in all three phases of football. Boom, boom, boom. It's all about teammates. They always say and do the right things. So when something gets out that's just slightly telling, slightly giving you some actual information you didn't have, then it means something is wrong.
Right. It is, but I gotta put this. I was thinking about this today, and the reality is they are still trying to clean up messes from Josh McDaniels, or Josh McDonald, as I call him. Josh McDonald, because he's a clown. So they're still trying to clean up the messes that he made while he was here and the mess that he left. And it's going to take some time. Now, they didn't do themselves any favor with gathering the quarterback room that they did and the hiring of Luke Getsy as an offensive coordinator. Again, not doing them any favors. But again, the expectations got to be sort of tempered a little bit because of what the mess that was left by McDonald. So we'll see. I was hoping that would get cleaned up a little bit quicker, but I think looking at this team is going to take a little bit more time.
You know, it's crazy. This is a factual statement here. When you say the name Luke Getsy, my stomach tightens just a little bit.
That was something that it didn't make sense at the time, and it's making less sense. I mean, that and the hiring of Tom Telesco, to be honest with you, they hired two guys that got fired from other organizations. Was there not anybody else?
I don't get it. I don't get it. The Luke Getsy hire made no sense. Like you said, Tom Telesco, I mean, it made some sense. He knows how to draft, I guess, decently, I guess. But again, if we are trying to become the best franchise out there, I don't think we should be taking cast-offs from unsuccessful teams.
Thank you.
Right? These guys aren't coming from the Chiefs organization, not coming from the Ravens organization, where they're clearly doing things the right way, right? There was a time that the Patriots organization seemed to have things going the right way. But right now, if you're looking at the successful teams, we didn't get guys from successful teams. We got guys from the Bears. A guy from the Bears.
Yeah.
Who didn't do a good job with the Bears.
And we got a GM from the Chargers whose team consistently underachieved.
Yeah, underperformed. There's no doubt about it. So, so what we're looking at, to me, and again, I'm going to be very clear. I'm going to stand on this when I say this. I'm in favor of us tanking and having a bad season so that we can get a quarterback. And I know that's unpopular, but let me say this. What has happened over the last two seasons is very telling. And it's why this is an extreme measure if we're going to take. 2 years ago, the word was that we wanted CJ Stroud and we were going to trade up to get him. And Josh McDumbass shut that down. So we did not select CJ Stroud. Stud quarterback. We wouldn't be having this conversation if that happened. But instead of we got Jimmy G instead of that, right? So it makes no sense to me. All right. But we also didn't have a good enough draft pick. If we were in the top 3, top 5, we could move up fairly easy to get a CJ Stroud because of us being in the middle of the pack. Or actually, I'm not sure exactly where we drafted that year. We just weren't able to make a package that made sense for us to get the quarterback that we wanted. This year, we wanted Jaden Daniels. We wanted Michael Penix. Now, I think it's odd that many quarterbacks went in the top 10 or top 11. I think it was 5 or 6 quarterbacks. But because of where we finished, we weren't able to get the guy that we wanted. So it sounds like to me that we identified two guys that we wanted that turned out to be pretty good quarterbacks, and we were not able to secure them because of our draft positioning. We're sitting in that middle. Where you're not good enough to really be a playoff team, but you're not bad enough to get one of the top type of picks that can change your franchise, right? So when I say I want to tank, I don't want to be 8-9 or 8 and what is it? Is it 8-9, whatever?
Yeah,
8-9, right? I don't want to be 7-10. 7-10 might get you just outside of that top 9. If we're going to stink, and we are going to stink this year, we're going to stink. Let's just stink it up. Like when we lost to the Denver Broncos, first of all, I don't like losing to the Broncos. And normally I would have felt really bad about losing that game. But in my heart of hearts, I'm like, okay, well, we lost. It means that we're going to maybe have a slightly better draft pick. Every time we lose, the way I'm looking at this is we're closer to a better draft pick. So if we lost every game for the rest of this season, I give up on this season. Sorry. I'm tapping. Panic button, tapped out. I'm done. I don't believe in the coach. I don't believe in the offensive coordinator. I don't believe in the general manager. I don't believe in the owner. I don't believe in the quarterback, the backup quarterback, the starting tailback, or I guess our starting receiver because he's leaving town anyway. So we're in rebuild mode.
Right. And like I said, it has to do with a lot of what the mess McDaniels left us. He botched the whole Derek Carr thing to where he had no trade value whatsoever because everyone knew we was going to get rid of him.
Yep.
He nixed the possible trade up to get CJ Stroud for Jimmy Garoppolo, which at best, for coming from Carr, at best was going to be a lateral move. And it turned out to be much worse than that, excuse me.
Yeah.
I don't know where I understand where you're coming from, but I hate the idea of tanking, and I especially hate it given the fact that we have, for the first time in decades maybe, a decent defense.
Yeah.
Now, the defense would have to be the 2000 Ravens in order to overcome our offensive troubles. And that's not going to happen, not in 2024. No. But I hate to waste a good defense. But to let you know, in case you hadn't heard the news, this might help your tanking thing. Christian Wilkins had foot surgery today.
Yep. I saw that. It's terrible.
Yeah. So it inadvertently helped your tanking thing because it says it could be a season-ending injury. I'm sure they'll put him on IR and assess where he's at the 4 weeks, and then assess where the Raiders are at the 4 weeks to see if they'll bring him back.
Yeah. And while we're here, and we're talking about my tanking thing, let me say this, and I want to say this respectfully as possible. You niggas on Facebook are too simple sometimes. I think I'm being very clear when I say this. When I say tank, I don't mean I want us to purposely go out there and lose. Nobody's going to go out there and purposely lose. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I don't feel that we need to put all of our eggs into the basket of let's try to eke out as many victories as we can so we can go 7-10 or 8-9. Like I kind of had this conversation, right? I don't feel like we need to do anything and everything that we can possibly do to save this season. I look at this season like it's a foregone conclusion that we won't be very successful. I don't think we're a playoff team. And if we were somehow to sneak into the playoffs, we were not going to last beyond 1 week. I think there's less than a 1% chance of us winning a playoff game this year.
Right. So, yeah, I'm going to further clarify that not with you, but with whoever listening. It is damn near impossible to fully tank in the NFL.
Yeah.
It's not like it's NBA. NBA, you trade one guy, another guy gets injured, you're tanking. That's it.
Yep.
Because the rosters are so short, especially if that guy's a superstar. Look at the Warriors of the year Klay Thompson hurt. I guess that was 20 2020 season. I want to say they didn't go into that season talking about they were going to tank. Clay was going to be out for the year. They brought in D'Angelo Russell, and all of a sudden Steph got hurt. Guess what? They're tanking now.
Yeah.
So
and they're not trying to lose on purpose. They're just going to make personnel moves that kind of ensure that you win less games than you would if you just maximized your roster, right?
Right. So, yeah, it's impossible. Not impossible. I don't want to say impossible. There's been situations where it could be done. You know, this guy's on IR, that guy's on IR.
Yeah.
It's a possibility, but you can't get 48 dudes to play football, to go out there and play football and try to lose.
Like, hey, y'all, let's get a good draft pick. And niggas is not doing that. And that's not what I'm saying. I don't mean go out there and lose on purpose. What I'm saying is we're already tanking. We are trading our best offensive player for draft picks. That reduces our win percent, our over under on wins. I would imagine that once we trade Devontae Adams, Vegas is going to adjust our seasonal total for victories.
Right. Sure.
Right. And if Christian Watkins? How do you say his last name? Wilkins. If he's injured and on the hey man, should we rush him back from an injury? No. Let that nigga sit and get healthy. Right? There's no reason to risk people overextending themselves, fighting back from injuries, doing everything we can to scrape out as many victories as we can. Listen, when we out there playing, we're going to compete. I expect us to compete. I don't like losing to Denver like the way we lost to Denver. In a normal season where I'm not already in tank mode, that would have really pissed me off. So I don't know how you niggas out there are feeling after that Denver lost. I'm like, hey, why would we tank? Nigga, if we not tanking and losing to Denver like that, then what are we doing? What are we doing? Hey, listen, if you watched the Charger game, you knew we weren't a good football team. Because guess who else isn't a good football team? The Chargers. Them niggas suck. They suck. They fucking suck. And as they were beating us, I was thinking, they don't even look that good. Like, we are just giving this game.
They weren't. The defense just got tired of the offense doing 3 and outs. His first game of the year, they just got tired. And next thing you know, J.K. Dobbins is busting long runs, and that was it. That was a wrap.
Yeah, we got smothered by the Chargers. I don't know how we beat the Ravens, but we did, right?
Dude, that Ravens game looked like it was a blueprint of the Charger game. I don't know how. I don't know what happened with that. I wasn't even happy about that. I was just shocked.
It's like hard to believe. Did that really happen? They're still like, did we really beat the Ravens? But yes, we did, right?
Right.
So, but losing to the Broncos, also not a very good football team. And then losing to the Panthers is when I was done. When we lost to the Panthers, we made the Red Rifle look like Joe Montana. I was done.
That was ridiculous.
We got smoked by the Red Rifle, bro. We made that motherfucker look like an MVP candidate. Like, yo, he couldn't miss. He couldn't miss.
Yeah. And then the fact that you said Denver, I think we had beaten Denver like 8, 9 times in a row. You knew how bad we've been to be able to pull that off? Are you saying Denver is better than us with Bo Nix, who can't throw accurately past 10 yards?
So you got to tell me right now, if we aren't tanking and we're just raw dog losing to the Broncos, the Chargers, and the Panthers, then what the fuck do y'all think this season is going to be, you non-tanking ass niggas out there? What the fuck do you think is going to happen with this team right now if we're getting beat by the Broncos, the Chargers, and the Panthers? Where are we going? What are we doing? No, listen. Repeat after me. We need a quarterback. We need a quarterback. And apparently we have to go through drastic measures to acquire one.
You know what's going to happen, right? You know what's going to happen? They're going to beat Pittsburgh this Wednesday. They're going to beat Pittsburgh this Sunday.
I know. I'm in a spot now like, guys, you're probably right.
They're going to beat Pittsburgh this Sunday.
We're at 3, and it's like, oh, maybe we're not that bad. No, we're that bad.
Yeah. But to be honest with you, the rest of the AFC is pretty freaking mediocre.
True.
I mean, that's what I did not expect. I thought it was going to be very top heavy with KC and Baltimore and maybe Cincinnati in there.
Yeah.
It is a very mediocre conference this year. That is weird.
It is really weird. And I seen somebody post something about these teams have quarterbacks and they're still losing. But that's okay, because guess what? If you're 1-4 and you've got Joe Burrow, you still feel good about the potential of the season. You're like, okay, Joe Burrow's been off. I don't know what's going on. We got to get this piece of it down. But we do have a quarterback, and we do have Jamar Chase, and we do have who's the running back? I was going to say they got a good running back, Chase Brown, and I don't know who the starter is. But you still feel like you can salvage this because you've got a good quarterback. If you're the Niners and you're 2-3, you probably have some confidence that Brock Purdy can win you some football games. We're sitting on 2-3, and we've got Gardner Minshew or Aiden O'Connell. And I got to be honest with you, I don't have the confidence that we just have to figure out a certain aspect of our team, and then that either of those quarterbacks can take us to a successful season. We don't have the upside on our season that these other guys who are struggling now do.
Yeah, and the thing is, we don't have the OC to help whoever the quarterback is or the running back. Okay, Luke Getsy runs a zone running game.
Yeah,
Zamir White is not a zone runner. Zamir White is see the hole, hit the hole. Zamir White is don't see the hole, still going to try to hit the hole.
Yeah.
That's who he is, straight ahead runner. He's not doesn't have that patience to be a zone running back. So why do you bring in the OC that doesn't fit the personnel? I mean,
or why can't the OC modify what he's doing to fit his personnel? Right, you've got to have some creativity.
OCs do.
Right, you got to have some creativity. Like, okay, you know what? Okay, I got this guy. I got Zeus. He runs hard. He's up in there. He's north south. Right? He's very north south, and he doesn't really have great vision. He's not patient. So, you know what I mean? Like, that's not the right. A zone scheme doesn't fit the personnel at all. So, that's a very interesting point you brought up there. Also, let me say this: if you realize you didn't get the quarterback that you wanted in the draft, why not make the move proactively to trade Tay Adams? Why wait for the middle of the season so that it's a distraction? Because you knew, honestly, you had to know, okay, we got Luke Getsy, we didn't get Kyle Kingsbury, and we didn't get the quarterback that we wanted. Chances are this isn't going to be a very good offensive season, and Davante Adams is not going to be happy with either of those two guys slanging a rock to him. Mm-hmm. Why not at that point in time just be real, like you said? Because you brought up another really good point, that we're cleaning up the mess of Josh McDumbass, right? We're still cleaning up his mess. Right. So, hey, man, we kind of thought we could go in this direction, but we really don't have quarterback figured out. McDaniels, we brought this guy in. He's a hell of a talent, but we're probably not going to be able to utilize him. This is going to be a stopgap year, right? We know it. It's going to be a stopgap year. Why not make the move earlier so that you don't fuck up the season in the middle?
You got a good point.
You brought up a good point. Listen, they thought they were going to get Jaden Daniels.
They thought. But
like when that didn't happen, we all know Davante Adams is not going to be happy with subpar quarterback performance.
Yeah. So
if you see these things going on, why not be proactive and do things on your own terms and kind of signal like, hey, you know what? We're not at the point where we need to be acquiring, number one receivers, you know what I mean, and spending resources on that and paying them $28 million a year. It doesn't make any sense. We could have easily have kind of made a pivot. Even maybe, I guess not pre-draft because you thought you were getting a quarterback. But shortly after the draft, you probably should have started shopping them.
You make a good point. Right? I don't know who. The Jets would be the obvious target, but yeah, I don't.
There's a market for Davante Adams.
What's that?
There's a market for him.
Yeah, but I think you're going to get a better trade value right now because teams are seeing where they are. Everyone's optimistic during the summer or pre-draft or after the draft. Everyone's optimistic. I think you're going to get a little bit more value from him at this point than you would.
So you think he's a more valuable asset now in season as teams can really make a real educated decision on, is this going to put us over the hump?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's the play.
How about that? All right. Moving on from Tay and the whole tanking idea. Again, I'm pro tank, but you got to understand what I mean. These niggas have contracts that are incentive laced. They're going to go out there and still try to win. So that's not what I'm saying. And I hate the fact that you guys can't figure that piece out. But all right, whatever. Moving on. Your thoughts on our head coach? What do you think? Because I mean, him pulling up in the 6'4" Impala, him talking like a real one out there had an appeal to me. There was some appeal to it. I liked it. I liked seeing it. It felt good. Like, okay, this is our coach. But to me, he appears to lack some polish. He appears to lack some poise in keeping his cards close to his vest. He seems to be loose with his mouth, and I don't think that's necessarily good for running a football team. And I don't know that he's a very good X's and O's guy either. So I'm not super up on AP. How do you feel about him?
I'm willing to wait a little bit longer before I make a definitive decision on him, just because, like you said, he does like the polish. It's an unexpected position that he's in right now. He's never been a head coach or anything. Yeah. So he's still learning on the job, and we have to give him that benefit of the doubt. Now, I don't like some of the decisions he's made. Like I said, the OC hire, I don't know if that was him to let's go or what, but that didn't make any sense. And he does seem that a little bit loose with the tongue. I hate to say this. I'm hoping he turns it around, because right now it's looking a little bit eerily similar to the Mike Singletary 49er days. A lot of similarities right there. And I'm hoping that he turns it around, but it's looking very similar to that year and a half that the 49ers had with Singletary at the helm.
Damn. See, that's why I want you to be here on this show. Your sports IQ is through the roof. But yeah, you know what? I hadn't even thought about that. But yeah, it is. It is. It's that I don't think what I feel like is that in real life, Coach AP feels like he can run the fade with any one of these niggas and whoop their ass. So when he's talking like he's one of them in the locker room. Because football locker rooms are a very testosterone-filled place. You know, people fight, they argue, they get loud, and the loudest voice wins, and like there's some barking that goes on. I don't think that a coach should be barking on his wide receiver one. When you have a top 5 positional player, I don't think you should. I don't think that's where you show dominance.
Mm-hmm.
But we're making business. You're out there making business decision. Okay, I'm gonna make a business decision. Oh yeah. The way he's talking like he's still in the locker room. Like, how dare you talk to me like that? I'm gonna run down on you. A head coach in 2024 is much more of a CEO.
Right.
You've got to be a lot more like Steve Kerr than you can be Bobby Knight.
Yeah.
Different sports, but the athlete has changed. Today's athlete is not with the barking and getting at him like that. He's going to leave. Here, I ain't come here for that bullshit. I know I can go get some money somewhere else. I'm out.
Yeah, true.
And that's exactly what Tay did. AP started barking, Tay said, I'm out. He didn't even hear him out. I'm out. He over here liking. Why would a head coach like a post about a player getting traded?
That's a good one. I have no answer to that. I will say that I heard today that he actually requested a trade before that post was made. He requested the day before. So it just changed that a little bit. I mean, AP probably a little bit up in his feelings about that. But I did hear that the trade request was made before that. He liked that post.
Okay. All right, well then now I get it why. Because I do coach and I'm an old school coach and I am closer to Bobby Knight than I am Steve Kerr. But if you don't want to be here, then get the fuck out, bro. Like, I don't want nobody inside of these walls who's not 100% bought in.
Same.
So if you ain't locked in and you want to go someplace, I'm not gonna hold you. Go. I'm not even gonna try to get you to stay, my nigga. If you want to go, go.
Me and you have seen Raiders come and go. We've seen Raiders. I mean, Devontae just been a Raider. He just been a Raider a couple years ago.
Yeah.
We've seen Raiders that were Raiders their whole lives, football lives, leave. We saw some of our favorite players leave. I'm immune to guys leaving now. I saw Marcus Allen leave. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I saw Charles Woodson leave. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I saw Tim Brown, Mr. Raider, leave. So Devontae Adams, you leave? All right. You want to go? All right. No, don't sweat off my brow.
Well, if that's the case, then I like the move. So let me shoot a piece and bail right there. If that came after the trade request, then let's just get this shit. Let's not play nice.
Don't be I think it was. I want to say it was. I want to give credit. I think it was Jay Glazer that said that the request was made the day after the Cleveland game that he didn't play in. So he came into the office the Monday after the Cleveland game, and that post was either later that night. I think it was the next day though.
Okay. All right. So then okay. I'm gonna put my hat on, my detective sleuth cap, and say, if that story got out, then Tay leaked that story. So then, right? Because if you're Coach AP, you're like, I know I didn't tell nobody about this outside of this, and the only person I talked to was Tom, right? Tom, did you tell anybody this? Tom's like, hell no, I don't want that shit getting out. Listen, we got to keep this shit in house. Well, I ain't telling nobody either. Then how did it get out? Well, clearly it came out from inside.
Right. And
so this nigga out here talking, he gonna come tell us this and he gonna start talking? Oh, nigga, all right, okay, I see what you want. Because to me, AP looked like, when he talked about Devontae Adams, he looked like he wants to run the fade with him. He looked like he want to catch a fair one with him in the back parking lot because he feel like he could whoop Tay ass.
Right.
That's how when he bring his name up, you're like, 17, I don't know, man. You know what I'm saying? I'll keep my conversation with me and him private, between me and him. That means like, listen, he don't want to see me. You know what I mean? It ain't good right now. And I think he would prefer me not say nothing, because if I let y'all know how I really feel about him, he really not going to like that. Because I really think AP could beat Devontae Adams' ass. Right.
So you got to commend him a little bit for not speaking his mind like he won't to. You got to commend him a little bit. So like I said, he does have a little bit loose, a little bit, not the subtlety, not the, the polish, but he knows when to bite his tongue at least a little bit.
Does it seem to you that we've lost some fight over the last couple of weeks?
It seems to me that the psyche is a lot more unstable than it used to be. Like the high of the Baltimore game got crushed immediately by Carolina.
Yeah.
All right. The Cleveland game, I mean, we won that game because Deshaun Watson forgot how to play football. He's talking about giving up on something. He forgot how to play football. That's one reason we won the Cleveland game. And then to be up 10-3 against the Broncos, driving for another touchdown, that pick six, the psyche got crushed within the game. So it just seems like the psyche is a little bit more fragile than it was, a couple weeks ago.
Something is different. I don't think the team is responding to the coach like we had hoped they would, like they did last season. You know what I mean? I think it's kind of like, I think there's something to be said for rah football coaching in a short term. But I do think in the long term, you need to have a plan. You need to have personnel that fit your system. You need to have a strength and conditioning program. You need to have a talent acquisition apparatus that is well-oiled and in alignment with what you're trying to do. I think you're going to have so many things working together and synergizing the right way to have success in football that if any one of those things is off, 2 of those things is off, 3 of those things is off, then you get this. We are disjointed right now. I don't think if I'm the owner of the Raiders right now, and you said, all right, Mr. Stansel, go ahead and select your general manager and your head coach. I'm not going AP and Tom Telesco. I'm not. I'm not.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm willing to give AP a little bit more time. A little bit more time. But like
I won't give him time. I'm saying if I was given the task of finding a coach, I wouldn't even have interviewed him.
Right. No, that's understandable.
Just straight up. I mean, he came from in-house and he liked him. I get it.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, if I'm starting, if you give me my choice of general managers and coaches, I would have made a move for Harbaugh. He was available.
Yeah.
And what did they say? Oh man, they said Devontae Adams and what's the name? Said Mad Max said, if we don't hire him, we're leaving. We want out. Well, guess what? They want out anyway.
Mad Max doesn't.
Yeah.
Max doesn't. Max doesn't.
Okay. Well,
Max doesn't.
Tay does. There was some stories about Max. I can't confirm or deny the stories about Max.
No, he fully reiterated.
He doesn't want to leave.
He doesn't want to leave. He said that. He said that day of Denver game, like after the game. He said that.
Good.
He called out people, including the Pat McAfee show, for saying that he wanted out.
Good.
So
Good. That's why, honestly, Max Crosby is arguably my favorite Raider of all time. I only have one Raider. I have one guy ahead of him. You probably know who that is. Knowing me, and who my favorite players were.
Shoot.
He already said his name.
Marcus?
Yeah, Marcus.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I have Marcus. I have Cliff Branch. I don't know why I loved Cliff Branch when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I love Cliff Branch when I was a kid. This one ran like the Road Runner.
Yeah.
Upper body was just quiet and legs were just moving like this. All right, man. We spent enough time on these foods. You ready to move on?
Yep. Damn, yeah, we've been going long. All right. Well, I certainly am. Next up, real quick, what do you think about the Warriors' chances this year? What do you think about a roster?
If you're in the East, probably could get like a 6 or 7 seed. It's going to be a little bit tougher. In the West, I think they need to make a move. But let's start off with this. What's your ideal starting lineup right now?
Okay, that's exactly where I was going with this. For me, if we're talking about the Warriors and we're talking about our roster, I'm going Steph, obviously at the point guard. Mm-hmm. There is some question as to what to do at the 2, but I'm going to go Wiggins at the 3, Draymond at the 4. I'm going Trace Jackson Davis at the 5. And I think we really have to have a knife fight for the 2. So we're looking at either Buddy Hield. We're looking at Jonathan. I guess Kuminga wouldn't play at 2. Hield or Pod at the 2.
I'm going to do you one better. Well, you might not find it better. I'm going with Moody at the 2. I'm going with Steph at the 1, Moody at the 2, Wiggins at 3. Still going Dre at 4. And I'm not quite sure what to do at the 5. I think it could be a matchup deal. But have you seen Kevon Looney lately?
I haven't seen Looney lately, no.
Looney lost a lot of weight. He put on a lot of weight last year as a way to getting stronger when he didn't need to. He just needed to stay status quo and he would have been fine. But that's the reason it just seemed like he was slower. Like he never could be able to jump, but it seemed like he couldn't rebound like he was. He had put on a lot of weight before training camp. He lost all that weight and then some. So he could be back to the Kevon Looney of 2022. And if that's the case, I like the idea of TJD coming off the bench, catching lobs from pods and whatnot. So I like the idea of having Moody at the 2 and bringing Buddy Hield off the bench. I'm not sure if he's a full-time starter, 30-minute a guy, 35-minute a game guy.
Well, I'll say this. I don't hate that idea. It doesn't seem to be trending in that direction. Moody was the 11th man off the bench in the last preseason game.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be trending that direction. I think that would be the way I would go, but
That's what
I don't run the team.
I would probably start Buddy Hield over him, but I would have Buddy Hield on a pitch count. So he'd probably be the first guy coming off the bench. I mean, first guy going out with Moody coming off the bench or Pod. I mean, what do you think about Pod?
Pod's solid. Pod's solid. I like the idea of having, since we don't have Chris Paul anymore, I like the idea of having him run the second unit rather than start. So I like Pods setting up Buddy Hield, Kuminga. Dre, to me, would be the first guy that gets subbed out so he could run with that second unit as well. So he would be able to set up Kuminga because Dre and Kuminga work well together. So in my scenario, Dre gets subbed out quick so he could run with that second unit. Buddy Hield, Kuminga, and TJG just setting them up all day.
I actually really like our roster. I didn't think I liked it until I went and did the 1 through 11. And when I did the 1 through 11, I was like, we kind of lit. We're kind of lit.
It's solid, but not spectacular. It's definitely solid, though.
Okay, so let's say this. Okay, we just talked about our starting 5. So in my starting 5, I got, let's just say, Steph Curry, Buddy Hield, Andre Wiggins, Draymond Green, and Trace Jackson Davis. My first guy off the bench is probably going to be Looney coming in for Trace. And then we're going to go with Pod or Moses Moody for Buddy Hield. And then we still got Jonathan Kuminga coming off the bench. So who does Kuminga come in for? Is he coming in for Wiggins?
He's coming in for Dre.
So he's coming in for Draymond.
Yeah, because Dre's going to run with that second unit, start of the second quarter.
All right. So in my scenario, our first guy off the bench is actually Jonathan Kuminga, followed by Moody, followed by Looney, followed by Pod, right? And then we still haven't even talked about Gary Payton III.
Yeah, so see, that's why I have Buddy Hield coming off the bench in my starting 5, because that second unit doesn't have enough scoring. Yeah, you're talking about Kuminga. Kuminga, he can score, but he needs help. He needs someone to set him up, and Pods could do that. Pods is going to shoot more this year, but that's still not enough scoring if you're talking about bringing Moody and, Kevon Looney off the bench with that.
I just like how deep we are. We are about 11 or 12 deep of good players because Kyle Anderson is there too.
Yeah, Kyle Anderson's there. DeAnthony Melton's there.
Yeah, Anthony Melton.
Like I said, you haven't talked about GP Deuce yet. It's solid, and it's got a lot of depth. It doesn't have a lot of top-heavy depth. I think,
I don't feel like, we're not just showing up in the gym and just whooping people like we used to.
No.
We have some depth, and if we get this thing moving the right way and we get the kind of teamwork and if they gel, we could be a problem. It's not sexy, but what don't we have?
Size, but we never have size. I'm tired of looking at Warriors fans' blogs and everything online saying we need size. This team has never had size.
We've always done it without size, though, right? Yeah, we've always done it without size.
Yeah, so I mean, TJD is only 6'9", but he plays bigger than 6'9". Draymond plays better than 6'6". He's listed as 6'8", but he's about 6'6". He plays bigger than that. So I'm not worried about size. What we lack is a consistent second scorer. I'm hoping, rest in peace to Mitchell Wiggins, Andrew Wiggins' dad, but that's obviously been hanging over his head the last 2 years.
Yeah.
and that's affected the way he plays. So I'm hoping, that he can, move beyond that and get back to the 2022 Wiggins that we saw, because that's going to be needed for them to compete. And, consistent second scorer. I think Kuminga showed at times they could do that last year. He just needs to do it over a full 82.
He got better later in the season. He could be a big X factor for us. Honestly, I think we'll probably end up trading him because I don't think that he fits in with the culture.
Who are you talking about?
Kuminga.
Kuminga? Okay.
I think they're going to trade him. Him and Steve Kerr have had some words back and forth. We didn't extend him, by the way.
It's still got a deadline. I think it's still like later on this month.
It's not done. I'm just saying that we didn't rush to do it. It wasn't like, oh, Kuminga's ready, let's extend him. It was like, all right, let's wait. Let's see what's going on here.
Well, if they extend him, that actually makes him more tradable. Because no one wants to trade for, if they don't extend him, he's going to be a restricted free agent next year.
Yeah.
No one wants to trade for a restricted free agent. So extending him makes him more tradable because he'll have 4 years at a reasonable contract. He's not getting.
We will extend him. We just haven't done so yet. It's almost like, all right, well, we're not just ready to dedicate to you like that. We're not just rewarding you with a contract to make you tradable. You got to go out there and earn it.
Yeah.
Right. I don't think if you pay a young guy that's already kind of popping off at the mouth, I don't think you just get a guy a bunch of money, a pile of money.
Yeah. Yeah.
Make him go out there and earn it. Let the other team see him earn it. And then when you extend them, they're like, okay, this guy's worth the money.
Right. I'm getting Jordan Poole flashbacks.
Right. Right.
Jordan Poole flashbacks.
Extend the nigga down the nigga, I got my money. I'm going to go fuck Ice Spice.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go talk smack to Draymond, talking about how I was gonna feel playing in Sacramento and get my ass whooped.
Yeah, right. So I just think that I understand NFL to me is witchcraft and voodoo. I don't understand it, how it works. I think I have a basic idea, but I couldn't tell you for sure. Basketball, I've been in basketball locker rooms my entire life. I know how basketball players think, and I kind of understand how important the chemistry is. In the NBA, that's the most important thing.
Right.
It's chemistry over talent.
Right.
A bunch of niggas playing together that don't like each other are not going to have success.
Right.
It doesn't work that way. I don't think Kuminga is. He won't be a lifelong warrior. I just feel like there's a coldness between him and the organization. I don't know. You don't sense that?
I sense that it got better last year. After I think it was a couple of games straight that Kerr had pulled him early, which I didn't get. He had pulled him like in the third quarter, didn't put him back in the game. After that, he kind of balled out for a little bit, but there's a very up and down nature with the relationship between him and the coaching staff. So I'm not sure what's going to happen with him. It wouldn't surprise me either way.
It's transactional. I feel like if he's playing well and if he's getting his playing time, he'll be happy, right? And if he's playing well, we'll be happy. But I don't feel like there is this ultimate trust between both sides that, hey, we're just going to figure this out. Sometimes you're not going to be so good. Other times you'll be better. Sometimes you'll play more than other. And both sides trust that. I feel like both sides are wanting something. And it's kind of like it's like a staring competition right now. We're face to face. It's a game of chicken. Which side is going to blink?
Yeah, I feel like their communication just seems like because Kuminga's like, well, Kerr's like, the sky is blue, and Kuminga's like the grass is green. So neither one of them are wrong. They're just not talking about the same subject. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And Kuminga won't acknowledge the sky being blue because he's more focused on the grass being green.
Exactly.
Right? Gotcha. Yeah. So, I think he probably gets traded. He's a very tradable asset, I believe. He's young. He's talented. Got a lot of upside. A tremendous athlete. But I don't know that he really fits into what we're doing. And I think we're kind of trying to figure out, is Steph and then what?
Yeah.
Identity-wise.
Steve Kerr said as much. He's like, the only guaranteed spot in the starting five is Steph.
Is that
Didn't
all
even
right?
acknowledge Dre as being a starter. I'm sure Dre's going to be a starter, but
Yeah.
everything else is up for grabs. So I feel like that's what the organization. Everything is starting anew. It's like I said, that lost year where Clay was hurt and Steph got hurt early in the year. I feel like it's kind of like that year, except the fact they knew Clay was coming back.
So,
This
question for
time
you.
they, this time they know Clay's not coming back. So
Yeah.
it's trying new things. It's
And
throwing things on the wall, see what sticks.
listen, we have a bunch of assets that are tradable. I think it's pretty clear that this is not the roster we're going to rock with.
No, I think unless this roster balls out, like unless they're like top 4 by the trade deadline, which I don't think is going to happen. If they're top 4 in the trade deadline, they're not gonna mess with anything. But
Absolutely.
outside of that, this is not the roster that's going to finish the year. I think that's you kind of sense that.
And Luke is a very patient guy.
Who's that?
Luke.
Loon?
I'm sorry, Luke. I'm saying Luke. Mike Dunleavy. I'm getting my second generation white boys confused. My general manager, Mike Dunleavy, is going to be a very patient guy. And I think that he's going to want to make a move on. I mean, Lauri Markkanen was a big name that was kind of being bantered around, but there will be other people who become available. So depending upon what's going on at the trade deadline, if we're sellers or buyers, I could see us making a move to add like the next piece because it was supposed to be Paul George, and the Clippers just refused to do the deal.
Yeah.
Right. So
yeah.
we're going to make a move for somebody. I don't know who's going to be available, but I do believe that right now we're just looking at a roster of players who aren't necessarily all there for the long haul. Buddy Hield could be moved. Obviously, Kuminga should be moved. I think we're going to try to keep both Pod and Moody, but probably one of those or both of those will be moved because I think we're going to make a splashy type of get.
I think that's what they're leaning towards. I think they're leaning towards getting, someone that could help Steph in his the last of his prime years. I mean, I'm saying that's last of his prime years just because he's still balling out of control. So even though he's at the end of his career, he keeps extending the prime of his career, which is phenomenal and crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. His prime could last. I mean, he's probably got like another 3 years of his prime, but then probably another 5 of subprime, but he's still one of the assassins of the league.
Okay, let me ask you this. How did it feel rooting for LeBron over the summer?
Interesting. It was interesting. It was an interesting feeling. It was liberating.
I kind of liked it, and I kind of hated myself for liking it. But there was one particular game where I forgot which game it was. It might have been the Serbia game, where the only person that was hitting was Steph. He had like 21 points in the first quarter, but the team was still down. And I was like looking at LeBron. All right, LeBron, let's get these other fools going. Come on now. And I was like, wait, what the hell am I doing?
What's crazy is I actually don't hate LeBron. I don't hate him. I don't hate him. I think he's funny. I think he's cheesy. I actually have a lot of respect for him because he's one of the few guys to make it to this level and not have any smut on his name.
True.
Right? He's just navigated. He's been famous since he was 12, right? And he hasn't fucked up in all those years of being in front of the spotlight. So I respect him as a person because it seems like he's actually a good dude.
Yeah.
Is he a whiny little bitch at times? Yeah. Does his flop around? Yeah, he flops around. A little bit corny and cheesy at times. But in terms of like, yo, man, this guy's going out there and he's showing like this is a black man who is having a ton of success in a lot of different fields. Business-wise, I mean, the guy's never been injured. He takes care of his body. He has no scandals. He's got a lovely black wife, and he's got kids who are doing well in basketball. He's got a son that's playing with him. He's winning on so many things that we as a people that I like to see us win at.
Yeah, no, I don't hate on LeBron. I mean, I don't hate LeBron. Off the court, phenomenal. On the court, I don't hate on him, but the flop,
It felt weird. It did feel weird. I know it was weird. It's like,
the flopping, the straight up lying. I've never been on a super team. Oh, come on now. Don't, we're not stupid. Come on now. But the thing that made me realize that made me kind of really like him during the Olympics was that he played defense probably for the first time in a decade. Like he actually was D'ing people up. When they played Serbia, he was D'ing up Jokic. I'm like, is that LeBron D'ing up Jokic? Yeah, he was D'ing up Jokic. He was like giving Embiid a break off of him, saying, you know what, let me take Jokic for a little bit. And then again in the gold medal game, he was D'ing up another person that was kind of balling. He was like, let me take that. Now this is a man who, for what, 2 years that they played the KD Warriors, that never guarded KD.
Yeah, he never wanted to match up with him.
He never wanted to match up with him. And now he's in the Olympics guarding Jokic. So that's the part that I liked seeing. But other than that, it still felt weird.
I just, I'll be honest with you. I don't know if it's just because I'm getting older, but I actually really enjoyed the Olympics this year.
I did too.
It was just, oh no, it was super enjoyable to watch the Olympics this year. I was into all of this shit. I was into the track. I was into the hoop, obviously. Watching LeBron James on the boat. Video's not available.
Dude, I was so into it this year. I don't know what happened, but I think the fact that it was in France and you could wake up and watch it, I think that helped a lot. But I was like into it. I mean, I'm sitting here knowing the whole women's gymnastics team. I was, cheering for them by first name, like they was family.
Yeah. Okay. It was fun. I mean, it's almost like these are like old friends, like Simone Biles has been doing it for so long, you know what I mean? Like, again, so seeing LeBron on the front of the boat, Captain America, they had the Avengers theme. He was holding the flag, you know what I mean? And seeing him out there representing America, man, I felt American. I was like, yo, I felt some American pride. Like, yo,
yeah,
I'm with this shit.
I was all for it. I'm like, like you said, Simone Biles, the girl Jordan, I loved her. Suni from
the gymnast.
The gymnast, Jordan Suni.
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
I was rooting for them like they was family.
Yeah.
And I got to know all the track and field stars, especially the women. Oh my gosh, the women track and field stars were just kicking ass.
It was fun to watch. I don't know. Am I getting older? Is it just being packaged the right way? Or it was just kind of maybe that right moment in time. We're coming out of COVID. Things are very separated politically. And just to see these people coming together and represent the country, for whatever reason, this year, it wasn't like this last Summer Olympics for me. I didn't feel as enthusiastic as I felt this year. But this year, I really, really, really enjoyed it more than I have in maybe 20 years.
Yeah, it has been a while since I enjoyed it like that. It has, man, maybe like the 96 Olympics in Atlanta was probably the last time that I watched a lot of it. Not just the hoops, but a lot of different events I watched. So a lot of different events. So yeah, it was fun to watch.
Shout out to the Olympics. All right, and we've been going long, so let's go ahead and start to wrap this thing up. Real quick. We don't have enough time to get to it tonight. I just want to say I've been enjoying college football. Speaking of things I've been enjoying, college football this season has been it's been a fun season to watch. And this last weekend was one of the best days of football I've ever experienced.
Yeah, college football.
Yeah,
college football is nice. Does not have a dominant team.
Right.
It's nice to not have a dominant team. That's my first take for that. Second take is there is going to be a drawback for these conferences that extended from coast to coast. These college kids are not used to going to different time zones 2 and 3 hours away and playing college football games. You know, you shouldn't have USC losing to Michigan when Michigan can't throw the ball. You shouldn't have that same Michigan team going to Washington and losing there, or USC losing to Minnesota. This is going to be advantage SEC because their teams are all playing in the same time zone. And it's going to take a year or two for these extended conferences like ACC and the Big Ten to get used to playing these cross-country games.
Speaking of cross-country games, and I want to make sure we touched on this, the Miami Hurricanes traveled nearly 3,000 miles to Memorial Stadium. ESPN was there for College Game Day for the first time ever. You, Mr. Marvelous One, as a Cal Berkeley alum, a Bear through your blood. Listen, man, I was watching. I went to a buddy's house. I almost went to the game. I was actually planning on going to the game. Didn't make it. Didn't end up making it. Went to a buddy's house, and he's a big-time Cal fan. His nephew played at Cal, played football. And it looked like, nothing could, like, it looked like destiny. Cal was winning every battle, every tackle, every block. It looks like Cal was just stunting on them. They was getting cocky. And I was looking at the Cal guys. They were much smaller than the Miami guys. If you look at them size-wise, it was clear like Miami had the higher rated recruits, but Cal has a bunch of dogs. I don't know how they lost that game, but I just want to say, even though they lost it, that was an entertaining motherfucking football game. It was fun to see Cal football be relevant again, like really, really, really relevant, where the whole nation was watching. That was great football. It didn't end up the way we wanted it to, but man, that was fun. That was a good fucking time.
Cal the Memorial Stadium has not been that full since Aaron Rodgers was the guy throwing the ball there. Yeah. That I was getting chills watching the game, not just from the game itself, but seeing the crowd there. It reminded me of being in the student section of Memorial Stadium. Now it's been renovated probably like at least once since I've been there. But the student section is the student section. And, hearing the fight songs, seeing the students standing up, being all rowdy, got nostalgic, chills up and down the spine. It was definitely a disappointing ending to it. But, I mean, like you said, it was a great game. I didn't think it was going to be hard for Cal to hang on to that because all their touchdowns they scored on big plays. 50, 60-yard plays. If they had to mount a drive, they weren't going to do that against Miami. They had too much talent, and that's what ended up happening in the second half.
I was watching that game now, first of all, to be very clear, if you guys haven't picked up on this, Marvin graduated from Berkeley, and you were there when Aaron Rodgers was the quarterback?
No. Aaron Rodgers came much later.
Much later. Okay.
Yeah, no.
But you been there when Aaron Rodgers was there.
Yeah, I've been there when Aaron Rodgers was there. Yeah.
Gotcha.
At that time, I was living in Oakland, so I wasn't going to Cal games at that point, but I was still watching it. Yeah.
Gotcha. What was the last thing I wanted to talk about? All right, man. It's time for the Fred Sanford big dummy of the day.
All right. Should I go first? You want
go ahead and go first, man.
You know what? This might surprise you, but I just mentioned his name.
Aaron Rodgers.
It pains me to say it. It's Aaron Rodgers.
What? Big dummy?
Rodgers.
Big dummy. Oh, do tell.
All right. So, like I said, it pains me to say this, but as you know, Robert Saleh fired today, and this is not a post or video advocating for Robert Saleh to keep his job, but he was a defensive coach. He pretty much turned the offense over to Aaron Rodgers and his handpicked OC, Nathaniel Hackett. Do you know at this point, 5 games of the season, they scored the same amount of points as Zach Wilson's Jets did last year? The exact same amount of points. And this is a man that got his coach fired. And now what are they going to do? Because they have no innovation. He just got done throwing 3 interceptions to the Minnesota Vikings, who looked like they knew exactly what he was doing on every single play. And it's like, where you go from here? You didn't play in any preseason games. You skipped out on a mandatory mini camp to go to Egypt. You have absolutely no chemistry with your receivers. Do you know Garrett Wilson had better receiving numbers from Zach Wilson and Joe Flacco and Tim Boyle and all these other quarterbacks that he had thrown to him his first 2 years?
No, I wasn't aware of that.
This is a guy who has painted himself into a corner with his handpicked OC, and who knows where they go from here. It doesn't look – I don't see why Devontae wants to go to that team, but it doesn't look like a very fun team to play for. They have no innovation on offense. They have no chemistry between the quarterback and the receivers. They have 2 running backs that are very good that they can't open holes for. This is an Aaron Rodgers shit show that he built brick by brick. And right now he's tarnishing his legacy.
Yeah. You think he's tarnishing his legacy, or are we just kind of like looking at like he's getting old and crazy? Don't people just get old and crazy?
He looks like he's looking like a get off my lawn type of deal.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
I've been doing this for years. Get off my lawn. I know how to do this. You know, he looks like Arshell in his second time around, saying, yeah, we're going to do 7-step drops and just sling the ball down the field 40 yards because that worked in the 70s.
That was some of the worst.
That was the worst coaching job ever.
That was some of the worst football I've ever seen in my life.
I felt bad. Aaron Brooks, oh my gosh. He probably gets sacked in his sleep still to this day. So that is my big dummy of the week.
And my big dummy of the week is not coming from the sports world, but coming from the world of entertainment. And my big dummy of the week is DDG. Who is DDG, you might ask? Most of you don't know, but DDG is Halle Bailey's baby daddy, who went to announce this week that he broke up. Him and his baby's mom are actually breaking up. And for one, I'm going to say, I never think it's a good idea when men go to social media to announce breakups with their significant other. I don't think it's a good idea when females go and do that. So I definitely don't think it's a good idea for males to do it. But that didn't stop DDG. Now, Halle Berry is the A side to that relationship, a very talented, beautiful, young Black woman who starred in The Little Mermaid, if you don't know. And I think for him to go public with that was kind of corny. But he went and made a bad thing worse by this comment here. And I'll just read it. I feel nasty reading it, but DDG says that I'm a grown man. I can make my own decisions. We chose to split because of personal reasons. Nah, it's not a skit. I'm not hurt, and I'm not missing out on anything. Her head game is trash as fuck. LOL. As long as my son good, I'm good. You're a big dummy. You got to be a big motherfucking dummy. The biggest of dummies to talk about your baby's mother in that fashion. And you don't have like a ghetto baby mom. You have a tremendously talented A-list celebrity woman who gave you a baby. And for this idiot to go online and start to say shit like that, he's a big fucking dummy. He's a big fucking dummy. And again, do you know who he is? DDG?
Never heard of him before now.
Yeah, I think most people our age don't know who the fuck he is, nor should we. He's not a very talented young man. I believe he's a rapper. I don't know of any of his songs, but I just think that he's a trash human when you go out there and you talk about your baby mama in this fashion. So DDG, Fred Sanford thinks you are a big dummy. My dummy of the day.
Can't disagree with that.
All right, so I do have one final question. I told you I had a surprise question for you.
As you did.
You know, this has been very PG, this whole podcast, and nothing wrong being PG, but you all know me. I like to push the envelope every now and then. We talked about a lot of things. We didn't really talk about some salacious things, but I was at a football party this weekend. Some of the guys hanging out, having some drinks, and somebody brought up the name Diddy and Diddy parties. And there was jokes going on left and right about Diddy and his parties and everything. And somebody was said, if I went to a Diddy party, I might go, but I'm leaving by 12. I got to leave by 12. Some people like, I don't know, man. I might stay. I got to see what's going on. I might see something I don't want to see, and I might got to get out of there. Some people is not going to the Diddy party. So my question for you, the marvelous one, is at what time are you leaving the Diddy party if you went to a Diddy party?
Ooh. I honestly don't know if I was. I don't even know if I would make it to midnight. I honestly don't know because allegedly, there was a lot of nasty stuff going on, and I'm trying to think. It's hard, man. I mean,
listen, okay. The Diddy party starts at 7 p.m. Hors d'oeuvres are going out, and drinks, libations are being passed around. It might be 8:30. You might have some shrimp. You know, you got the little cocktail shrimps cracking. Might have a hookah area, a cigar lounge, swimming pool area. Beautiful people. Leonardo's over there. Oh, man. Who's over there? Oh, man, Diddy's over there. Mace is over here. You know, The Rock is here. You know what I mean? Samuel Jackson is over somewhere mingling. Famous celebrities. Jennifer Garner is there. You know, just Halle Berry is there somewhere.
Yeah,
that's 9 o'clock.
That's 9 o'clock. And I'm trying to. My 20-year-old self is so much different than my almost 50-year-old self. So I'm not sure what time I will leave, but as far as time goes. But I'll say this. The minute Diddy is walking around with his shirt off, putting his arms around me, I'm out.
Well, okay. Okay,
if
fair
he's
enough.
Walking around with his shirt off, posing with pictures with his arm around everybody, I'm like, nah, maybe it's time we go. Here's
my Diddy meter. I've never been to a Diddy party, but I would, if I were invited, I would have went. I'd have went. But then when they said, right around 12 o'clock is when he says, like, hey, we're about to go on to the after party. So some of y'all got to go home because all of y'all can't be here for this. This is when the real party started. So at 12 o'clock, you're there. Okay, so let's say you're there. Corinne Stephens is there. All your favorites. You name it, they're there. And you are just having a great time, communicating with everybody. Everybody's cracking jokes. Everybody's mad cool. Everybody's having drinks. And you're having a great time. Let's say you're having a great time at the Diddy party. Nothing weird, nothing gay is going on. There's nothing out of the ordinary. It's just a regular party. And then you hear the announcement, hey, party about to change up a little bit. So if you ain't with this shit, get the fuck out. But if you know what's going on, hang on out. And then some people start to leave. Hey, man, what's going on? They start to leave. But you ain't seen nothing crazy yet. Are you still leaving at 12?
If he says the party's about to change up and we already partying, having a good time.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask some questions.
Yeah.
And if those questions don't get answered directly,
What
I'm out.
question would you ask?
I'm out.
What question would you ask?
Huh?
What question would you ask?
I'll ask like, how's this part? We partying right now. How's it gonna change up?
And he just says it's
And
going
if
to be a
they,
party. It's for the grown and sexy.
I'm like, hold up.
I'm assuming he'll say something like that, right? Like that's the way he would put it.
He's gonna word it in a certain way. But if I'm there till midnight, I'm having drinks, I'm having a good time. The beautiful women are already around me.
Yeah.
How is the party gonna change it? I need specifics. I need
to
know where I'm getting my.
So what you're saying is you're not automatically leaving at 12. You're like, curiosity, what's going on with the second half of this party?
Yeah, I'm gonna need something to say
I'll be honest with you.
Keep me there.
Yeah, because full disclosure, I'm kind of curious what's going on. I wouldn't just be like, oh man, party's about to change up and everything about to get extra. I'm not even thinking they're going there, right? To some of the stuff we've heard.
No, you would be curious. You would want to know where it's going.
What's going on? Girls gonna start taking their clothes off. What's going on? We skinny dipping in the pool. What is going on at this Hollywood party with Leonardo DiCaprio and Jennifer Lopez and Jennifer Garner and all these various you call it A actresses and B actresses and people you never seen before and they're just beautiful with great skin and are all successful and funny and I don't want to lead the party right now. I know it's 12 and some people are leaving, but I'm having a good time. So unless this is getting really crazy, so we're both staying past 12. But I just want to know, at what time do you think the party got to the point that it's like, it's time to go? 1? I can imagine at 3 o'clock the dinner parties are a bad place to be.
It didn't start right at 12. There was something more that was going on to make sure people was going to do what he wanted them to do. So
he eased into it, right?
Huh?
He eased into it. It wasn't just 12 o'clock now, let's start freaking.
No. Like I said, there was something else that, needed to be done. And there maybe some NDAs that need to be signed. I don't know. Something that need to happen.
Something changed up, right? Like music got slower, the lights got low. They went to there's another house behind the house. They all went over there. It probably wasn't NDAs that got signed up.
There might be because you would think there'd be more people speaking out.
Because everybody is mute right now. Ain't nobody saying shit.
And they've been mute for years, like decades, to be honest with you.
Here's the part that scares me about that is that if ain't nothing happened too crazy then why don't nobody just be like, nah, man, I was at them parties. We was just kicking it. It wasn't nothing crazy. Nobody is saying that. Nobody who was at the parties.
Was saying that wasn't too crazy. But, I think this is my conspiracy theory here. But, Jamie Foxx was talking a little bit about it a couple years ago, be like, man, Diddy parties, yeah, there was, he didn't go into details, but
yeah,
he was starting to make a little noise about what was going on over there, like hinting at stuff that was beyond crazy. Jamie almost died last year, so
yeah. I will say this: Hollywood is a weird town, right? And I will say this: whatever Diddy, Hollywood meaning LA, was up to, I don't think he was the only one throwing those type of parties.
No.
I think those are pretty common in that echelon of people. They do shit that us commoners don't really experience. And I think that's why it went on for so long and nobody really had anything to say. But, so we find ourselves in this space where it's crazy. What's crazy is that so many of our great blacks have been reduced to becoming like memes of their greatness. Michael Jordan is just as known for the him crying meme, as he is for playing basketball right now. He probably gets posted more like that. They will put his face crying on anybody that had a bad day. That is
Anybody?
probably the most used meme in the world. They turned Michael Jordan into a meme.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson went out sad. Bill Cosby went out sad. R. Kelly went out sad. And now we got P. Diddy going out sad. A lot of these dudes be going out sad, bro. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not excusing nobody's behavior, but goodness gracious, man. I don't know what's going on with our great blacks, but they seem to be chopped off at the knees, man. I don't know what's going on.
You need to keep your nose clean. You know,
You just got to,
literally and figuratively, if you're at the top, you know, because anybody at the top, especially a black man at the top, they're gonna try to bring them down somewhere. You know, they're gonna relish in that fact. Now, again, not, you know, condoning any of those guys' behavior.
No,
I don't condone what Diddy allegedly did. I haven't listened to R. Kelly music in the, you know, since the late '90s. To be honest with you.
Yeah, I canceled R. Kelly. I'm not canceling Michael, but I am canceling R. Kelly.
I am not canceling Bill because Bill, you know, he played the character. R. Kelly was R. Kelly.
Yeah, that's
with
true.
all his music and songs. I can't.
You go back and listen to that music now, you're like, oh, it was there the whole time.
Yeah, it was there the whole time. So I canceled R. Kelly way before he went to jail. So
yeah. So okay, back to the Diddy party. What time are you leaving?
like I said, I'm not gonna put a time on there.
We'll give it to just.
I'm not gonna put a time on
You
there.
would just get to the point that if they got touchy, feely on you, it's time to go.
Yeah, if it got a little too weird for me, it's like, whoa, okay, oh, like why is Diddy and Meek Mill having the same outfit? That don't seem right.
You know, in I don't know how transparent I should be in this moment. I will say I'm not with any of the weird stuff that they were talking about. But I'm not a prude. And if some shit started popping up in front of me, I wouldn't be like, I gotta get the hell out of here. And if I started seeing dudes start kissing and stuff, I'm out. Yeah, it's time for me to go. But there could be a level of freakiness that
no. Don't get me wrong. Like, stuff can happen behind closed doors. But if it's just like everything out in the open in front of everybody.
Yeah, right. I would imagine, and here's my imagination going. I would imagine there were different rooms for different activities.
It could have been. I mean, that's the way the Playboy Mansion was set up.
Right? Right. You wouldn't all just, I don't think it was just like this big, crazy A-list orgy. Everybody take your clothes off in the same room. And I don't think, just get freaky. I don't think that's what was going on. I don't know. I've never been to a freak off. But yeah, so for me, I would think that for me, I probably have to leave the freak off no later than 2:30. I think that's where my level of freakiness would probably tail off. Like, okay.
Yeah, I mean,
I still freaking at 2:30.
Someone online posted, on a scale of 1 to Diddy, how freaky are you? And I replied to that Diddy is like cheat code God level freaky. Like you need to download the cheat code, put extra tokens in there, whatever. He's the final boss of freaky.
To get to Diddy's level of freaky, you got to go up, down, left, right. You need extra freaky men to get.
You need, like I said, you need God mode. You ever played Doom and played Doom on God mode? That is freaky Diddy right there.
Yeah, you got to be old school Nintendo putting the fucking cheat code in. Yeah. The guy was just freaky. So I don't know. For me, I'm probably out. I give it a number for me: 2:30, 2:45, 2:59. By 3 o'clock, I'm out.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards more like 1:30, 2 o'clock.
1:32.
You leave at 1. Well, you know, I was gonna say, you leave at 1:30. You have enough time to hit the liquor store before you head back home. Maybe convince a couple of girls to go with you. But I mean, you at Diddy's party, you're gonna steal a bottle of Ciroc before you leave. So
yeah, you don't have to stay. Yeah, he's got bottles of Ciroc everywhere. You wouldn't have to. You wouldn't have to hit the store.
Yeah.
So all right. So you're cutting out a little bit before me. I'm a little bit more adventurous. Look at that. Well, maybe I was wrong when I said everybody's not in one room getting freaky because
That is not a group picture that you take with your regular friends. I'm close as hell with my friends. We don't have one picture like this.
like I said, I don't think everybody's all in one spot and they're all just naked and freaking off in one room, and nothing freaky is happening here.
Look at that dude in the suit with the drink in his hand. That's me right there.
Yeah.
Like, looking at all this, like, what the hell is about to go on?
What's going down over here?
That is me right there. It's like, wait, hold up. They all know each other and they all that close? All right.
Yeah.
All right.
They are, yeah, they are very cozy. They are, is that Aaliyah?
I'm not.
Can't tell if that's Aaliyah. It's an older picture.
That might be Aaliyah right there. Rest in peace.
Yeah. And I can't tell who that is. It looks like Jay-Z, but I don't think
that's Jay right there.
It is Jay. That's Hov?
That looks like Hov. This looks like it's about, late 90s right there. Late 90s, early 2000s.
So if that's Hov, then is that Dame Dash here?
Could be. Kind of hard to tell.
That's Andre Harrell there. Diddy, obviously.
Yeah, that is Andre Harrell.
That's Diddy. Perhaps Busta Rhymes, not sure. Huh. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm leaving around 2:15. They all seem to be real good with this right here. like nobody bad night other than homie right here.
That's my man back there. It looks a little bit like Billy Zane. Billy Zane don't look like he approved of what's going on right there.
That's the only nigga with the appropriate response right now. Like, what's all y'all niggas doing right now?
He's like, damn it, I knew I should have drove here.
All y'all niggas on what, man? What are they on right now? Are they on a bed? What is this?
Yeah.
How are they all on one thing? I don't know.
I don't know what that is that they're on. But
I don't know, man. Yeah, 2:15. 2:15. I'm already uncomfortable and everybody got their clothes on. So I love it, man. Yeah.
Let's wrap this up, man.
All right. Well, good show. We went much longer than I thought we would, but next time we'll try to keep it shorter, keep it crispy, and be concise with our takes. But this was a lot of fun. Got to get back to it. Let's try to do these more regularly. But man, yeah, always good to talk to you, my brother.
Always good to talk to you too.
All right, Raider Nation, y'all can be mad at me if you want to, but I'm all about tanking this season, coming back fresh next season with the quarterback. That being said, I am BONZ, the Smack God. Anything else you want to get off, Marvelous One?
Nah, man, let's call it a night and, wait till the next episode.
All right, folks. It's good. Y'all be good to each other. God is good. God is great all the time. We'll catch you on the flip.